Hi everybody, welcome to another video. I hope you all had a relaxing summer break and you are now recharged, ready to start the new academic year. In this video, we are going to be looking at one of our brand new resources that have just been created by the team, and it's a tutorial on professionalism. I feel that this resource is really good for this time of the year because it will kind of just run through all the things that you need to do to make sure that you present yourself in the best possible light as you embark on your teacher training, as you start in new schools or new placements, or maybe you are an ECT starting in a new school as well. So I hope you find this video helpful, and I'll leave all the links for everything that I talk about in this video in the description. So let's get started. So this is our trainee teacher tutorial on professionalism. It is a resource that you can find on our landing page, and I've also linked it in the description so you can download it. In this video, we're going to cover professionalism on all levels, really. We're going to be talking about attire, so kind of things you should be wearing when you're in schools, punctuality, clear communication, acknowledging strengths and weaknesses, personal, professional development, and also we'll be talking about our upcoming teach meets. And we've got so many exciting teach meets coming up soon, and I'd love to share them with you as I think you'll find them very, very beneficial. So as a teacher, it's important to recognize that you need to hold yourself to the highest professional standard. So not only are you representing your school, so you're also creating an image of yourself as well. This will impact on how you are perceived within the profession. You'll be assessed in this area throughout the teacher standards, especially in part to personal and professional conduct. So it's really important that you show yourself in the best possible light. So let's first of all start off with talking about attire. So dress code policies. Before starting at your new school or your placement school, it's really important to review the dress code policy for your school. Dress codes can vary widely. Some schools actually do require business casual attire, for example, shirts, suit trousers, and knee-length skirts, whereas others are a lot more relaxed. So it's really important to understand what is and isn't acceptable, and this will help you prepare what you should wear accordingly. Another thing to consider is PE kits, not for the children, but for you. So when you're teaching a PE lesson, it's really important to understand the school's dress code policy. So some schools may require you to wear your PE attire for the entire day, or maybe just for the lesson, or they might not require you to wear PE attire at all. So it's also really important to be aware of any restrictions that they may have. So you might not be allowed to wear football tops, for example. So that's something that you should definitely check before coming into school wearing it. Another thing that's really important is to consider the activities that you are doing on that day. So depending on what you're teaching and the activities that you are involved on a particular day may impact on what you wear to school. So for instance, if you are teaching art, or you might work in nursery or reception, it might be wise to avoid wearing clothes that you are very, very fond of or that are quite expensive. There's a high likelihood that you may possibly get stains on them, which you don't want. Another thing to consider is your shoes. So when checking the dress code, look for any specific requirements regarding your footwear. So as I mentioned earlier, some schools may have a more relaxed approach where you may be able to wear trainers or something like that, whereas others are a lot more stricter. So try to find sensible and comfortable footwear that would meet your school or your placement's requirements. And okay, so now moving on to punctuality. So it's really important that you arrive at school on time to complete any tasks that you may have to do before the school day begins and your students arrive. So unless there are really exceptional circumstances or something that's completely out of your control, you should model punctuality to your students and hold yourself to the same standard. If you know that you are going to be late for whatever reason, just follow your school's policy and inform the appropriate member of staff so they can arrange cover for you if needed. It's really important to have clear communication. So let's first of all talk about clear communication with colleagues and members of staff. So the way that you communicate with your colleagues can really impact on how you are perceived as a teacher and as a person. So simple gestures such as greeting everyone on your way to the classroom in the morning, it can help you build strong relationships and actually make you feel more connected in the school community. So keep these in mind. Keep in mind that these interactions should not be limited to just teachers, but you should also include all staff members, so including TAs, lunchtime staff, office staff, caretakers. There's so many different members of staff that are not just teachers in schools. Also, when you're discussing any issues with your colleagues, ensure that you communicate in a very positive and professional manner. And the aim is to foster a collaborative and supportive environment. So now let's talk about clear communication with children. So it's very, very important to speak to your students in a kind, professional, and respectful way. So this type of communication will set the expectation of how they will communicate with you in return. So when you're given instructions, choose your words carefully and ensure that they understand what is required and feel confident and safe enough to ask you a question if needed. Now moving on to clear communication with parents. So it's really important to communicate effectively with parents and work together as a team to support the students. So being honest and open with parents helps to build a rapport, and it's also important to listen to any concerns that they may have. So try to dedicate enough time to discuss the issues that have arisen if something has happened during the day, even if this means scheduling time after school or maybe in the morning to ensure that you have an uninterrupted conversation with them. Moving on to our next point is acknowledging strengths and weaknesses. So as a new teacher, it's so important to acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses. This will help you to celebrate your achievements and also progress in your practice. So as a trainee, you won't know everything and you will need to rely on others for support and guidance, and that's absolutely fine. Identifying and working on your weaknesses will show that you have a growth mindset, and this will in turn nurture your continuous growth and development throughout your teaching career. One of the ways that you can acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses is to embrace feedback and advice. So as a new teacher, you will be surrounded by more experienced colleagues who can all provide you with very valuable information, knowledge, and advice in all different ways. Although it is tempting to try and do everything yourself, doing everything yourself may limit your opportunities to learn from other people. So if you can, ask for help and support from your colleagues and consider their advice. And you might even discover new things that you've never even considered before. Another way to acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses is to value collaboration. So remember to rely on your colleagues for support and information during the early years of your teaching career. Collaborating with them on planning, trips, data, it can all be a great way to learn from them whilst actively participating and helping them in return. You can also acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses by self-reflecting. So during your lesson observations, your mentor will provide you with feedback and suggestions for improvement. It's natural to feel quite disappointed when someone tells you to improve on something, or when someone points out maybe something that didn't go quite right in your lesson. But try to stay as open and positive as you can about it. It's a great chance for self-reflection, so you can make an effort to incorporate the feedback into your future lesson plans and to demonstrate that you've taken on the feedback on board and you are actively working to improve. So remember, even experienced teachers have areas to improve on as well. Now let's talk about your personal professional development. So even though your colleagues, university tutors, and mentors are all great sources for support in your professional development, you can also take the initiative and work on your professional development and growth independently. So here are a few ways that we've come up with that you can do this. So you can try and read more blogs. So reading more educational blogs can help you stay up to date with educational news and learn new techniques too. So with books, your university will usually provide you with a reading list, and this will contain certain books that can be really useful in learning new ideas. So if you find that you don't really have the time to read blogs or educational books, you may discover that podcasts are more suitable for you. We have a fantastic podcast that's dedicated to trainees and ECTs. However, there are so many podcasts available, so try to take some time to find the best one for you. Also, there's websites. There are educational websites and community groups like our Facebook group, which is a fantastic way to ask for advice, view and download resources, and you can learn how you can actually improve your practice too. So that summarizes our wonderful new trainee teacher tutorial on professionalism. I hope that you found this helpful, and I have linked the resource in the description below. It may be a handy resource to have printed out, keep in your folder, just to give you those tips and advice and reminders whenever you need it. Watching this video, I hope you found it helpful, and remember, we are always here if you need any advice or any help or just someone to talk to. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you next week in the next video. Bye.